Hi, I'm Marie. I'm here at Scrapbook.com and I'm with Tonic Studios showing off some of the Nuvo Drops today. There are lots of different finishes of Nuvo Drops. There are crystal drops, there are glitter drops, they have their dream drops. So there's lots of options that you have, and the main difference is they have different finishes when they dry. So your drops are going to look different depending on which ones you choose and what kind of background or technique you're going for. So one technique I like to do is I like to take a stenciled background. This is stenciled with hybrid inks, and those are Nuvo's hybrid inks. Why I like the Nuvo hybrid inks with the crystal drops is because once the hybrid inks are dry, they're not going to run, and you can put any kind of medium on top of them and they're going to stay right where they are. So I've stenciled this background in rainbow colors with Nuvo's hybrid inks, and I'm just going to go ahead and drop in some of these Nuvo drops right into these spaces here, and you can make a quick and easy background. One thing you want to do when you're squeezing your drops out is it's always a good idea to squeeze them out on a piece of cardstock before you bring them to your paper. In case you get a little air bubble in there, they might splatter a little bit. So just squeeze it out onto a piece of scrap paper before you put it on your background. So I'm using some of the crystal drops here. You can see how they come out easily. They like to kind of self-level, so you get that nice little bubble finish with them. If you find that they are giving you a peak, sometimes if they're a little bit cold, they might not level out very well, so you can hold them in your hand a little bit, warm them up, and then they should squeeze out nicely. This yellow here is one of the glitter drops. So it's going to be like the crystal drops, only there's glitter inside to give you a sparkly finish. Sometimes if you tip that in the light, you can see some of that glitter. So those are really fun to add on to hybrid inks, on to stenciled backgrounds, but you can also add them onto die cuts and stamped images. So I have two cards here. I've stamped and colored these, and I've got some donuts that I've die cut. One of my favorite things to do is just to take some of these Nuvo drops and add them onto my die cuts so that I can then go ahead and embellish with some of these drops. And it's going to look like frosting on top of these donuts here. You can let this dry and then go back with some more drops and add little dots for some of the sprinkles if you want to do that. And if you get a little air bubble in there, just take it off to the side, squeeze it on a piece of scrap paper, and then bring it back to your project. So it's really fun to add some little dimensional details to your die cuts and your stamped images. So for this card here, I've gone ahead and I've stamped and embossed that flower. I've also colored it with some of the aqua brushes. I've left these little berries here open so that I can take a little of these Nuvo drops and then just drop them onto my background so that you get some dimensional finishes. I always like to add these last so that I can set my cards aside, let them dry completely, and then they're good to send to a friend. So I've got some finished samples here. Here's another donut card. I've taken some of those crystal drops and I've put some of the sprinkles on top while it was still wet. And then as it dries, it's going to have a glossy finish with some sprinkles and some glitter inside. You can also take some of these drops, pair them with some of the glitter paste. So I've got some little drops inside of this stenciled background here. And you can always just go ahead and add them to your background. I've added a few little drops around these stamped images, and they kind of look like enamel dots once they're dry.